dealing with sleep deprivation and cravings that go along with it. It's not really a question so much as a statement. How do you deal with sleep deprivation and the associated cravings?
So, number one, we could probably come up with 100 different strategies for dealing with the results of sleep deprivation, but I want to take you back a step further. How do we conquer the sleep problem? So I want to dive in there, because if we can conquer that sleep problem, the results from the sleep deprivation go away, right? So symptoms of what happens when your body doesn't get enough sleep.
Higher cortisol levels.
So more hunger, especially for us females.
Yeah.
Higher cortisol levels, more hunger, throws more hormones off balance, right? We're not, they've shown that like sleep deprivation can be equivalent, like in a delayed response, as like having been drinking alcohol, right?
Yeah.
So like it really does impair your body. And if you are dealing with sleep deprivation, like so many of us are right now, just because, we lay our heads down on the pillow at night and immediately our minds start thinking about all the things that we've been ignoring throughout the day. So that might be what if scenarios. That might be if you deal with, if you struggle with times of uncertainty, which is really what we're living in, your mind might spiral into what if scenarios.
So so I'm a master resiliency trainer for the Army, and one of the things what we do when we spiral is an easy way is just take it to its illogical conclusion, right? Well, what's the worst that could happen? And then take that out and keep going. What's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? And you'll find that it's like, well, the worst thing that could happen is the house blows away in the middle of the night. Like, that's ridiculous, right? So get yourself to that point where you get to this ridiculous statement and see, like, okay, my worrying is taking me to these ridiculous places, and that helps you put it in perspective and gain control over the thought.
Yeah, so another thing you can do to deal with the worry, if you're dealing with those thoughts, and even so those, if we just try to ignore it, if we just try to medicate ourselves to sleep, what happens is that those worries manifest in our dreams. Those worries manifest in tossing and turning. So then you're seeing a lot of movement. You're seeing a lot of disrupted sleep during the night. So your body can't get into that deep sleep state, and you need the deep sleep for healing. And I'm with you on this because I have been struggling with my sleep and working diligently to improve it. So these are all the things that I am doing. So the newest thing I'm doing to deal with the thoughts is daily journaling before I go to bed. So that's just, I have a notebook. It can be a pretty notebook. It can be a cheap notebook and a nice pen. And I just sit and I write down everything that's on my mind. And I don't self-edit, and I just free write. So if you've heard of morning pages before, this is very similar, except for it's reverse. Doing it at night just lets you kind of brain dump everything out so that when you close your eyes, there can be some quiet and some peace.
Yeah, so I've heard this called like a shutdown routine, right? So people will do this when they leave work or when they're trying to end a certain task. It's the things you need to do to shut down. So think of it like a computer. Like I want to close all my programs, I want to save this and that, and then I want to shut down, and then I'm done with it. So that's a great way to think about it as one of your shutdown routines. Also, something you could add to the journaling is, some people call it a gratitude journal, or I call it hunt the good stuff, right? Find 3 good things that happened during the day. It might not necessarily be things that you're grateful for, but things that were good that happened that you can reflect on in a positive way, not necessarily just the things that you want to get out of your head that are negative.
I love that. And that would be a perfect way. So start with your journaling, start with your writing. Maybe you have another pad that you start a to-do list as you think of all those things you need to do during the week. And then end it with reflecting on those 3 good things. Because what that's going to do with your brain is now when you lay down and you close your eyes, meditate on those 3 good things. If there are moments with your kids or with your family or your spouse, like just run those back through your mind, like create a deeper memory of that moment. And so the goal being that now you have peaceful thoughts to go to sleep. You've dumped everything out. Now, if you are someone who prays, this is a great moment as you finish your journaling to take a moment and pray. Lift up all the stress and all the, the junk, let's call it junk, that's weighing you down, and lift that up to whatever higher power you believe in.